Hey,
Cool.
you guys.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Lucas. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks.
Nice to see you again
Yeah.
in not in the flesh.
I know. I was going to say because last time I saw you, I was going to try and tempt you to go to see Tottenham that night against Marseille.
And they won.
They won. They did. Yeah, that was a good game. I was. But anyway, I won't talk about football because my editor will kill me. But I loved this movie. I mean, it's such a charming film that really is all about the kind of strength in human kindness. And I mean, as an actor, you know, there's so many reasons why you want to tell stories, but sometimes is it nice to tell a story that just promotes such positivity like this film does?
Absolutely. Yeah. But you said it. I've always believed in, treating people with respect and at the end of the day, we just all want to be loved and accepted. And then being able to tell a story that implies that being nice isn't being weak or stupid is just refreshing. I think it should be trendy to be nice. And this is what this movie promotes just operating out of love and operating without judgment and just seeing people for what they are with their wounds and traumas and just knowing that they're trying their best. And this is what this movie is.
And it's obviously also about sort of following your dreams to some degree. I remember when I was about 14 years old, I really wanted this like Nike t-shirt.
I thought you were going to say dress.
No, after seeing this movie, I do. But no, I really wanted this sort of t-shirt. And I remember I was like 14, so I had to save up pocket money to go and get it. And I finally got it. I just wondered, did you have an equivalent to the dress in this movie? Something you always wanted to get your hands on that one day?
Yeah, I'm like this. When I set my mind on something and I need to get it fast, and it's just little obsessions, because just like Ada in the movie, it's something that vibrates in you and makes you so happy that you're like, I'm gonna just follow this. You can't be mad at someone for trying to be happy, and so I like these little obsessions that we have sometimes. And I have many examples. I was saying earlier, I wanted to buy a theremin, this instrument, this weird Russian instrument. And it took my entire week. I was so obsessed with it. I was calling people, asking questions, trying to find the right. And it's a beautiful metaphor for life,
So did you get it? You got the theremin?
I did. Little did I found out that it was one of the hardest instruments to play, but I will get there. Yeah. I will play theremin for you next time we see each other.
I was going to say, I'm going to hold you to that. But I mean, it is obviously, I sort of mentioned about this being a film, it's like the positive messages and about following your dreams. Does it, as an audience member, it rubs off on me? I kind of felt when I watched the movie over the week, and it sort of put me in a good mood, and I kind of felt like I had a bit of a spring in my step. As an actor, when you're in films like this, does it rub off on you during the kind of making of a show? When the films, what I'm basically trying to say is when the messages in the film are positive and it's got a good spirit to it, is that contagious around the whole movie set during the making?
Absolutely, yes, and especially when Lesley Manville is leading. She's a beautiful human being inside and out, and she makes everything so safe and everybody so accepted and loved, and of course the story is contagious, and I think that's why she accepted to tell that story, because she's a bit of an Ada Harris. She loves and she shares and she goes out of her way to make people comfortable. So what you see on screen is really the result of us being together for 3 months in Budapest, and we just created a bond that we'll keep for life. She's now one of my best friends, and same with Jason and Natasha and Lambert, and it's just precious, because this is what I pictured this industry to be when I started in the first place.
I was interested actually because you mentioned about Budapest. There's someone, because I know you're from Paris, or you sort of spent obviously lots of time in Paris. Is it quite strange when you're in another city and it's decorated to look like your home? Is it?
Well, to be fair, it's very Osmanian, so it's not only decorated, it looks like Paris to start with. There's a lot of different architectures in Budapest, but it's mostly Osmanian, so it's easy to feel. Many times I felt like I was in Paris when I was walking down the streets.
I loved your character in this. I mean, to get into the head of him, did you almost have to go back in time and remember what it was like being kind of like 14 years old and kind of a bit shy around girls.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. I was raised by a strong feminist figure who really repeatedly told me that men were pigs, and you know, it's hard to tackle masculinity, and when you, as you're growing up, knowing that this is the wrong side of oneself. And so I really went full into femininity, and my friends were only girls, and so yeah, this is why I was so shy, because I was almost apologetic about being a man, and I couldn't talk to girls like on a flirtatious level, because I was like I always felt like I was bothering, or I was being this, you know, heavy energy. And I put that in I infused all that energy into Andre, because that's exactly what he's going through.
Yeah, I was actually you obviously mentioned about working with Lesley Manville. I'm sure you've spoken a lot about working with her across all the interviews you've done. But as a Frenchman, it must be a complete joy to share the screen with Isabelle Huppert as well. I mean, what was that experience like? You sort of, you know, sort of raised in a kind of strong feminist household. I mean, you're working with some of the greatest kind of iconic sort of actresses who have ever worked in this industry. It must have been wonderful to go toe to toe with someone like Isabelle.
It felt, you know, it felt like home. It felt like home, and it's just so heartwarming to see that these amazing, inspiring actresses, these powerhouses, are just the nicest, grounded people. You know, they never make you feel like they are what they represent in the industry, and everything's simple. Everything is just you know, simple human interactions, and Isabelle is just, she's just the right amount of crazy. You know, she's always working, always onto something, always tackling different projects and things at the same time. And yet when you interact with her, she's fully present. She has that particular stare where she's looking into your soul and trying to understand you, and she has that curiosity. I think curiosity is a secret to a lot of things in life, you know.
I mean, you've worked just for, obviously, I, like, you know, interviewed you for Ticket to Paradise quite recently. I mean, that's George Clooney, Julia Roberts. Now you've got Lesley Manville, Isabelle Huppert. I mean, it's so quite an incredible array of people to work with. Is that, I'm not saying you do have a list, but if you did have a list, who else is out there that you'd still love to work with one day?
I actually have a list of nice actors, which are the ones I believe to be nice in real life, because I see it through their performance, because you cannot really lie. And I know that in that list, there's, for example, Viggo Mortensen, that seems to be just is also one of the most talented actors I know, but he also looks like from what I heard on set as well, people working with him, is also very grounded. Mads Mikkelsen, and Meryl Streep. I don't know. There's a lot of there's a lot of them, and I'm already, you know, so grateful to have had the opportunity to work with actresses I admire for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're all wonderful. Just going back to sort of Ticket to Paradise, because obviously that was an American production set in Bali, and now this is a kind of British production, sort of co-made with sort of France, set in Budapest. Do you see yourself as an actor who will always just make films around the world and continue to work outside of France in different nations, kind of industries? Can you see yourself being like a traveling actor, just following the best stories, I suppose?
Well, I've been a traveling human being for so long that it just feels so organic for me to be traveling through productions and characters, and I'm just very comfortable with the idea of, you know, entering new microcosms and new countries, and just getting wisdom and getting richer on a spiritual level through my craft, because this is how I grew up. I grew up just learning different languages and traveling the world. So I guess it kind of makes sense to me that things are happening the way they are, and I really hope that it will go on. You know, it's a difficult industry, and it's hard to stay for long. So I'm just taking it all in, and it's supposed to be fun. So as long as it's fun, I'm on for the ride.
Yeah, but just wondering if you always thank Emily and Paris for taking that leap of faith and giving you that chance. 'Cause I guess as an actor, you know, everyone needs that role, that gamble taking on them to some degree. And I guess for you, that might be it.
Yes, Emily is definitely what started everything on an international level, and I will always be grateful to Darren Star for fighting to get me on, and he's my father in this industry now. With George, they're fighting for parentship, and I'm glad he gave me the opportunity to, you know, get the stories and get the scripts, and I'm still auditioning for everything. But I feel like I have a quicker access to beautiful stories, and I'm so grateful for this.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Lucas. And hopefully,
Thank you.
Good luck with the instrument.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!